Live and die for the Horde.
Welcome back to HGC North America, where Team 8 right now is sitting 1-0 over Team Freedom. On Team Freedom's favorite battleground too, being able to take them out on Towers of Doom is probably quite nice.
Yeah, it only furthers, you know, the struggle of Team Freedom, at least so far in the series. The fact that they lost on Towers of Doom, they have to find a way to steal the map from now from Team 8.
Koth and Luck, any predictions where you think we might be going for Game 2? Probably it'll be a choice of Team 8.
Well, if Team 8 has map choice, then I mean, there's one map I know they love to play on. I'm not going to say it yet, but
Okay.
we'll see if it comes up.
We'll wait and see if they want to bring it up here. Yeah, we've talked about teams trying to hide strategies as best as they can. Was it Infernal Shrines? Infernal Shrines is where we're going.
Team Freedom is in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, it's kind of Team 8's favorite map, so much so that even you guys respect Team 8 on it. I believe you guys drew out a ban even the first time they played. It's just a lot of teams are kind of not okay with letting Team 8 have this map. So the fact that they've got it themselves, I'm almost more excited because we don't get to see them play it that often. To, you know, what do they bust out? Why are they so scared? Or it's terrifying, you know, on the map.
They play some Medivh there. They play some Chromie there, too. It's some Greymane fun, of course, knowing that they love playing their Greymane and they're able to bust it out there. Anything else you're predicting from them or along those lines?
Maybe a Leo in there, too, would be pretty good for the way they play. Team 8 is just, they're so strong on this map because they do a great job of deciding as a group when to sacrifice objectives in order to get ahead in push or XP. And this is the map where you can get an advantage the most of all the maps by choosing key times to sacrifice objectives in order to gain advantages other places. And you'll tend to see Team 8 just kind of naturally scoot out to these level or 2 leads in the mid game. And you're like, wait, weren't they losing all the shrines? And that was something they planned from the get-go.
So this time a Nazebo ban from Team 8. What do you think, Dread? Just not as fearsome of a hero to be up against on towers because they could get ahead with these ultra shots?
I do think one major point into it was the fact that Gul'dan is such a good mage on this map itself that they would either want to try and reserve a little bit more into the Gul'dan itself, but then obviously Freedom adjusting, getting the ban onto it, saying if we can't have the Naz, then you can't have the Gul'dan.
Yeah, this Naz ban leads me to think that Team 8 is going to focus on a macro game here, taking it late themselves, but not wanting to be subject to that level 20 power spike from the Zebo.
And they get the Greymane. Is this the draft? Is this it? Is this where Freedom does it? I'm excited. This is like the right steps. There's no Naz possible. They've removed one of the key question mark heroes, I guess is what I'm calling that. You know, flexible heroes by taking the Greymane on a good map for it. They just need to now avoid getting out macroed really, really hard. That's what I want to make sure they do in this draft. But I'm excited. You know, very few teams have done this to Team 8.
There's the Medivh playing into that macro plan for Team 8. It'll be very interesting for all of our viewers to see finally how Freedom approaches the game when they are the ones forced to be on the offensive. They still have time to adjust their drafts to try to force it into more macro themselves, but with a Greymane opening, you're already partially committed to an aggressive playstyle.
Yeah.
What two picks then are we expecting to go along with this? Maybe an Uther for the Divine Shield there. We've seen Team Freedom try to make sure they can get Uther when they don't have Malfurion.
Good call.
There we go, and a noob.
Yeah, a noob just solid overall, fits into pretty much any comp, and then the Uther, like you said, Malf already been taking. Uther probably in the NA meta, the most dominant support left. Just grab there. It doesn't really commit them too much to a particular playstyle. If they have anything hidden in the back half of the draft, these picks don't really allude to it.
Dread, thoughts on this next ban?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting in my own brain here on this draft right now. So on to for the next ban out of Team 8 here. I think the biggest focus here, they've got themselves a Medivh. I don't think I would have looked towards the Zarya as a major problem. I definitely would have.
What about Tyrael?
I see. If I'm afraid of Tyrael, I would have banned it out, but I don't think they have to be afraid of it. I think not only could they pick it up for themselves if they wanted to, They go with the Genji itself, afraid of the hyper aggro, you know, committing all into the team fight by getting the Genji Uther Greymane dive. But something to accent, you know, the Anubarak and the Greymane to be overly offensive. But I do want that, I still want that piece on the backside to be able to deal with the macro play, because that is the strength of Team 8, and that is where I expect them to just overpower Freedom.
Pretty standard ban coming out there. Usually if a team has either Genji or Uther, but not the other one, it'll get banned out, because nobody wants to deal with invulnerable Dragon Blades.
It's a tough time. It's an absolutely terrifying synergy, man. It makes Genji goes from good to great with one ult. What do we see for Freedom?
Freedom, they're going to try to decide what it is that Team 8 wants to do here. However, that was a good choice. That was a good choice to take that out. That is what Team 8 wants to do is they want to create map pressure, and they want to soak while feigning pressure, so they're always getting ahead in XP. Leo's one of the best tanks at doing that because he can step up, get away safely, and even if he does get caught, as long as you're getting soaked on the side lanes, it's kind of an even trade anyway. So smart of Freedom to know that Team 8 was going to look for that, and we're still going to see Team 8 try to commit to a very safe comp. I believe we might see a variant or something like that, where they can feign that pressure while still maintaining soak and remaining safe.
Leo takes away one of the secondary warriors that Team 8 likes, so I thought that we'd maybe see Dahaka as making sure they still had one of those.
And with, you know, Justing recently has kind of put back his Diablo flavor, and when anytime we see this team get Medivh, I always feel like, you know, now it's back to, can Justing get himself the Diablo? Because that was, Team 8 rose to the top of North America with that duo, with having Glaurung on the Medivh and Justing on the Diablo, so it is scary. I actually, for Team Freedom, when we were talking about that Leoric ban, I would have rathered it be Dahaka. Because I think when you can force Glaurung to commit to a hero, you only have one more to worry about, and that's Prismaticism. So you automatically focus him into a, you know, cripple Team 8 into the draft. If you ban out the Dahaka, you force him onto a squishy backline, and Nubarak works into directly to most of it, and it removed the macro. But Freedom has to make up for it. Now, it's a terrifying draft on the side of Team 8. It's comfort across the board. Do they all in with the, you know, Tyrael attempt for that dive? There's a Sonya.
Sonya making its way to NA. It's a pretty popular choice on this map. It's very hard to get off of the shrines. It does allow them to commit just one person to shrines, as Sonya has incredible clear and sustain, while matching teammates' macro on other parts of the map. So it was a good decision for Freedom there. How you feeling about that Cassia?
It's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be pretty scary in this game. I think I'm really torn on the Sonya. Like,
How so?
So with a D shield, within a Nubarak, like there's a lot of things in this comp that make sense as to why it would work, except it's into the Diablo and it's into a Medivh. Like both of those things are a weakness to her. So she's good for shrine control. Diablo's good at killing things on the shrine. Like the first time, the reason Diablo came to the meta on this map was to kill Sonya, because she was so strong on this map. And quickly it was like, well, if they hit Diablo, we just can't pick the Sonya. So I'm afraid of Sonya just flat out dying early on to the hard CC after Diablo initiates. And then they have Glaurung on top of it with a lot of portal play. I don't think that the Sonya brings enough to the circumstances. Even then, like, Sonya has no mobility unless she takes leap. She's very good at applying pressure, but outside of the shrine itself, if she's not effective on top of that, every team fight or where she's successful, Medivh with the portal makes it to where it's like, wait out the wrath, we'll buy a little bit of time. It's only on shrines do I really see her being a problem, and Diablo makes her a non-existent problem.
What are you hoping to see from Freedom with this draft?
Well, this is a very interesting end of the draft here. I feel like the Sonya was picked up because they were expecting Team 8 to give up the shrines, and so Sonya could just do them uncontested, thinking the Diablo and all the other heroes would be playing passively. However, perhaps in response to that, they picked up a Cassia, which does lead itself into a very strong team fight. Also because Freedom has 3, maybe even 4 melees with the Greymane.
Yeah.
Cassia gets insane value on her charge strikes and all her AoE abilities. So that might have been a reactionary pick there. If so, it was very smart.
Well, this, I believe, is Team 8's first Cassia game. Let's see how it works out for them on Infernal Shrines in Game 2.
Team 8, 1 game up here over Freedom. Feeling good. Sticking to comforts, not even mixing it up. We did see some respect to the Nazebo in this draft, but that was about the only major change. I'm ready for Justing on Diablo, though. The Medivh and Diablo synergy teammate has shown early on. I would say weeks 1, 2, and 3, if you ever want a clinic on how to kind of run this duo, teammates got it.
Yeah, and then once Diablo was taken away, they said, oh, we can do this too with Varian.
He was actually conveniently released in, I think, like week 4, and they were like, well, Varian's got a taunt on 20 seconds. Let's go.
It is charge strikes still for Prismaticism's Cassia.
The one really good thing for Freedom, the one major selling point is, beyond all this praise, is the fact that there is no consistent, reliable range DPS on the opposite side of the battlefield, which is going to make heroes like Falstad very successful. Sonya, in theory, should, but there's too much CC for her to really thrive outside of the Divine Shield. And Anubrak's okay in those type of situations.
Any chance we see some sort of crazy dive comp from Team Freedom? Is there any necessity for having that?
A dive, like just all
like
in?
leap a noob. Just go. Let's go.
Is it possible, or is it definitely for sure? I don't know if that's the duo I would want. If you do that, I think you need to go Hinterlands. You have to make sure your range can always follow up. If you don't have a consistent range follow up, it's never worth all-inning on those. But to be honest, I am more surprised that we don't see more Resident Sleeper kind of Sonya leaps come out, because it is still one of the only range CCs that was untouched by the CC nerf. Stun locks across the board. She does do a lot of damage with Poison Spear, can pretty much 50% any squishy. And the only major deterrent now is Uther's back in the meta, which is why that strategy kind of fell out. But while he was gone, not one time did we see the old school leap burst eraser comp.
You call it Resident Sleeper, I call it OA.
It's just the
It's awesome.
Bud's caught out. Nice follow-up stun. But he's going to heal out. 3-man root very early into the turret range as well. Nice flip on Insom. First
even
blood.
More insane body blocks.
Going over to Team 8 thanks to the start. Collusion's in a terrible position, but nobody is able to move up. Even everybody on Freedom was dying. How did that happen?
Deathball. Deathball status confirmed for Team 8. First shrine is up. Inner Light is the choice for Cassia, so not going to have the Ring of the Leech for her own building up of trying to have some more sustain, but with having both Malfurion and Medivh, she's got a lot of sustain there, and there are some possibilities of some stuns there with things like Sonya's Spear and especially Anubarak, even Uther.
17-12 on those skeletal defenders here. Nobody's put too much focus into soaking the side lanes between the Falstad and the Dahaka. Both more concerned. There's going to be the first stun coming out from Justing. Nice Medivh shield. The drag going to land here on to Dansky. He gets the Q, he gets the disengage, and he survives. Nice heals coming out from Collusion.
Dragged him all the way back into the roots, and Team Freedom are getting low in health, whereas the double supporting style of shielding with Force of Wills plus the constant healing of Buds is keeping Team 8 fully topped off in health as they clear out the last remaining skeletal defenders necessary to get the first Punisher of the game.
And one thing I want to point out already is that though nobody died during that shrine, a lot of it came down to the fact that Buds misplayed on that last route, forcing an early drag. That would have been anybody was dead. Anybody who was against the wall. Dansky flat dead. It was just not hitting the route directly after the CC. Again, Diablo has that kill potential here very early on. So Team 8 pulls ahead, but maybe not as much as they could have.
Nice to see from the shadows, from Justing. Again, giving him that range for a Shadows charge. Outside, you put a portal and then you get from the shadows and you can catch just about anybody. He can add that with Devastating Charge later on to build up his own damage with that. Even getting the double or the Shadow Charge reset at 16 later on, and you're not safe anywhere. Nobody is safe from Justing.
Yeah, and talking about not being safe, nice initiation, big root afterwards. There's the portal, and Nubarak down. The bug's going to be squashed. Another thing, considering the synergy when it comes to the comp itself between that level 4 and Diablo, is it helps with portal stuns strategies. You know, if you portal behind them to be able to help make sure you get your Q as fast as possible, limiting your damage, crippling the distance at which they got to be able to retreat. It has multiple uses there.
Definitely.
And, you know, I feel like since 2.0 has hit, Justin shouldn't be allowed to play Diablo because he was scary before, but now he gets to play on Primeval. And so it's just...
He not only is scary to play against, but he is terrifying to look at.
Yeah,
look at that thing.
Slithering. All derpy. It's beautiful, but it's one of the, you can't stop staring, you know? You just can't. You want to look away, but you can't. Teammate.
Ooh, nice call on the Poison Spear.
Hey. I do think this Poison Spear is going to become more standard, just period. I don't think it's going to be the leap, though. We aren't there yet. There is no squishy that you could really blow up other than Malf or Cassia. I wish, man.
Next shrine starting to activate. Great timing of the camp from Team 8 to have that pushing along. Team Freedom has theirs pushing too, with Falstad in the top, so they can try to keep the global there. Especially since they're starting to fall behind in experience from Team 8 from the couple of kills and structured deconstructs that they've gotten. Team Freedom gets to the shrine first though, and that is going to give them a great start to this. Maybe forcing Team 8 to get a little aggressive to stop Team Freedom from getting this.
I just feel like the biggest thing is that the side soak is going to go in favor of Team 8. They're going to hit 10, and then you're going to watch Leyline Seal, and then an Apocalypse hit, and then Freedom regrets standing around this in the first place. That is... It's just too reoccurring of a strategy for Team 8. Look, they have double camp out. They're worried about the 10 more than the shrine. The fact that they're even in this, they're so excited. Now Dahaka conveniently can wake his way down once they pick up the 10, or they'll zone off. It's just...
Lightning Breath instead of Apocalypse follow-up.
Ooh.
Ball Lightning's there too. Heroic abilities available for Team Freedom. Divine Shield, Wrath of the Berserker. There's Cocoon too, Justing trying to break his teammate out. There's a Gust and Lightning Breath, both used. Nazmus fairly low, has to back off as well as the rest. That was Divine Shield, Leyline Seal follow-up. Here comes Team 8.
And there goes Falstad. Surprise, you're dead. Cutthroat around here, man. Team 8 holds nothing back, but a member down, a Punisher down. It's the slow Infernal Shrines game that we expect out of Team 8 here so far. 7 minutes in, things looking good. Almost got themselves a full level ahead. Structural health looking all right. They got themselves mid-weekend, and they're going to be able to take out this keep front wall, or at least get some damage into it. I don't know the window in which Freedom changes how things have happened. I feel like the first step would have been in the the macro game, or at least hard emphasis to the first two shrines, and the fact that we made it past that, and now it's a full level difference. I really do think that teammates' expertise on Infernal Shrines will be enough to secure this out.
There's the charge, and that was even without the devastating charge, but so much damage available. Quickly catches Insomnia, even questioning if they could get these Khazra. Anything to alleviate the push, the pressure of Team 8 on all of their structures. With this mercenary camp, Team 8 can set their eyes on the mid fort, which has conveniently been opened up, softened up by the first Punisher.
But the camp behind it should be easy work. Falstad's not flying down. This would be, if there were no minions, a moment to maybe go for a flight play with that Gust. But they're going to let it go down. Another fort and 13 talents here. I mean, teammates just going around the horn. They just got done with bottom. They take out mid. Time to go up on top. Keep that pressure.
Just checking to see if Glau would maybe want to try to portal onto this. He might do it anyway. He feels very confident in himself, but he's only at 8 Master's touch stacks. Gotta watch out for those for a little while. Team Freedom, at least, knowing that the members of Team 8 are up in the top, are trying to push in the bottoms. They're trying to catch up in experience so that they can get a fair fight.
Yeah, this is a really smart play for them. It does feel a little slow. That rotation for Team 8 was about as straightforward as it could have been, and it happened about a minute ago. But Freedom capitalizing. So now they don't stop. This is what I would like to see from them, just to never stop with the siege. They are going to back out, take at least one camp, so they'll have some pressure against Team 8 here over this shrine, but they won't be able to get it and then rotate fast enough. They'll lose a couple of skeletal defenders. It's just, do they lose too many now, knowing Team 8 knows that they're on the opposite side of the map? Hasn't started yet, so that was... Freedom got their cake and they got to eat it, too. You know, that was insane, the fact that Team 8 only got a fort out of that play.
Desert Course achieved from Team Freedom as they move up to try to stop Team 8. from being able to get yet another Punisher, especially because it will head in toward the top keep. And that's when the real damage, the snowball, starts to take effect for Team 8.
There was the first stun, Justing, and force Wrath of the Berserker out. Can sustain that onto those skeletal defenders, so can pop it very, very early. Nice force of will. Gus pushing everybody away. They've got themselves the portal. Prismat dropping that lightning ball as we watch the splash damage become a thing here into this corner. Nice stun. Divine Shield's going to be forced.
Yeah, Divine Shield had to be used. That gives Insomnia time to whirlwind out, try to heal up. Lightning Breath also used, but the important thing is that Team 8 once again has zoned Team Freedom off of the Shrine. But Team Freedom are stepping in from the side, seeing if they can stop the retreat path for Team 8. Another charge, another flip. Insomnia in the middle of Team 8, but Justing is low. A force of will saves them.
And there is a portal to let the rest of the members of Team 8 out, but there is a sad little Yoda there. Nice. Wow, he makes it out too. Nice burrow, good force of will. Portal down 17 to 25 on these skeletal defenders, and now Insomnia is the prey here of Team 8. How did Team 8 do that? They made it out, they get full HP, and they just come back.
Portals and force of wills.
Gosh.
You're as frustrated as I'm guessing Team Freedom is right
yeah,
about now.
probably. I mean, anytime you're into a double support composition and you gust defensively, that's not a proud moment as a Falstad player, because it just shows that there's no way, because if you disengage to a double support, you don't come back with more HP than them. So if you're using it in the first place, you've lost the fight in the long run. But I thought, you know, for a moment there, it felt like Team 8 was going to be successful in that fight. It was the fact that mainly Glorong and the rest of the members of that portal somehow got over the wall and out. So well done, and now they've got themselves Punisher, Shaman Camp, 16.
It just felt so calm from Team 8. Force of will to save Justin. We've got the portal to get out. Everyone can heal back up. We're going to force of will the one person who was in danger, which was Dahaka. Everything going Team 8's way right now as they escort the Punisher in. They've got an aggressive portal for Justin. Immediate Hammer of Justice to stop, but Justin just throws Insomnia back over to the team.
I love this play coming out from Team 8 with no gust. They all in. A 4-man ley line sealed. The lightning breath is there, but nobody has gone down yet. Collusion keeps himself up. He's got a D-shield, but he goes down before it is able to be used. That is Ghost Form Uther. And the keep not captured here. Even Yoda possibly getting caught out. Nice burrow. Portal's there. The keep doesn't fall.
Freedom could have lost a whole lot more there. Up, they're going to because they lose Sonya. But Freedom could have lost a whole lot more there. Nubarak stopped Twilight Dream from happening, hitting him up just in the nick of time so that he couldn't follow up the leyline seal from that. But in the end, Insomnia finds himself too close to a building. Any building will do for Diablo. I'm telling you, once Diablo starts stacking up those charges, he is full. That is so much damage that can be done.
Yeah, it is actually crazy to think about. I mean, if I told you any other warrior in the game could do an absurd percentile maximum HP, like seriously, think about it. If I told you that if you hit a Stormbolt and every time you could hit more than one hero with a Stormbolt, you would do 15% of your opponent's maximum HP, would you be like, yeah, no, seems legit? It is one of those things when you cross-compare, you suddenly go, wow, that's how it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, it does put you maybe in line of fire, but in this case, he's got Force of Wills.
He's got portals.
Yep.
Yeah, there is a trade-off. You know, comparing it to Murden directly isn't totally fair. Cut me some slack here, you know. It's for the sake of conversation, Gilly. Jesus.
Every time.
Every time. Another altar, 2-level deficit, but we got.
Fly.
Oh! The gust was ice blocked.
Still, Buds is the one who's away from the rest of the team, or the furthest toward Team Freedom. Yoda comes in, catches Falstad, and now it's damage control status for Team Freedom as they try to get Nasmus out, and they do, but Team 8 are perfectly fine to just play with portals all day until they find the right person. Trying to take out Insomnia. Insomnia is more survivable now, though, at 16, getting Nerves of Steel.
So what do we see here for Team 8? Is it going to be tap and start the shrine? Looks like it is. Freedom does not have Wrath of the Berserker for 15. They have Divine Shield at least. Gust up in 15, but again, that can't be used defensively. There's no way they went into a double sustain like that. Cursed Bullet was worn by that reabsorption Force of Will thanks to Glorung. Nice engage there. Justing starts it. Leyline Seal finishes it. Lightning Breath is out. as Yoda burrows onto the backline, gets a lot of damage, adaptation healing him up, but Anubarak is already dead. Freedom down a man. Insomnia spinning to try and win, but it doesn't look like he's getting the same results.
You might take out Prismaticism, though, with that Poison Spear. Force of Will in time. Medivh always where he needs to be in the action to keep the team safe. 2 kills for Team 8. An Arcane Punisher as well. And a full 2-level lead.
I'd be ready for Team 8 not to capture this. This is one of those moments where I was like, take the race to 10. Or 20, excuse me. Sorry, numbers are hard. Take the race to 20, then take the keep, then take the game. You know? You got the ball.
Yeah.
Its bags are packed. Time to send it home.
The balls bags are packed.
You don't
like
need
sending it rolling.
You don't need to worry, Gilly.
Sort of worked.
All you got to remember is it's time to send it home.
Okay.
Time to send it home.
They are ready to send Freedom home anyway. There's no Sonya for a few more seconds. There's a portal. They know Team 8 or Team Freedom's going to try to bait this Punisher over. Justing has found Dansky.
There's a cocoon. Larong took no damage. There's a portal. Force of Will out. Keep falling already down to 50% HP. 75 on the Punisher, as it now only has 1 keep to get distracted by. Team 8 wants to end.
Yeah, that gave them 20. They have that huge advantage. Gust has already been used just to try to take out the Punisher. Leyline Seal.
I don't know. This is pretty risky. The Medivh cheats got 3 more people hit by that, but Insomnia goes in. He gets instantly deleted before even a single heal could happen on the side of Uther, and now the Lightning Breath damage is real. No Uther back, no Divine Shield used, and it looks like they might be able to do it now. 40% onto the core and counting. 30. 20.
These Forces of Wills have been incredible. Justing just throwing everyone around to Team 8 with a decisive victory on Infernal Shrines. Really seemed like from the first shrine on, absolutely no chance for Team Freedom.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think that was a good way to put it. What do you think, Cawthon? You think that sums it up?
No chance. Yeah, that's basically it. I think Dread and I were expecting a dominant win here from Team 8 as soon as we saw the map. Even I'm a little surprised at just how one-sided that game was. No deaths, unless I'm mistaken.
No, it was 11-0. You are correct.
Yeah, they were just never in danger of dying, and the way that they set up the leyline seals into the Diablo, just punching someone into the wall at the perfect angle. I mean, Justing was just a menace that game.
What do you think of the Lightning Breath instead of Apocalypse?
Oh, great move, great move. With the Guardian of Kings from Uther.
Don't go into APOC.
Yeah, you don't want to give everybody Hardened Shield, right?
Yeah.
Lightning Breath instead was a great pickup.
Well, that does put Team 8 1 game away from taking out our contesters, right? Whatever you would think of Team Freedom, they've made it so far. Team Freedom, now their lives for playoffs are on the line. What will they do?